that wheat will come up, and the nature of that stuff is to go dormant. This thing's old. It may have belonged to my grandpa. I can't remember. I got these two brushes here. Howdy folks, it's Justro here at Metcalf Mills. I've got a little fun fact Friday for you. We're gonna go ahead and get it out of the way up front, because what it is, Justro messed up. I know it's a hard thing for you to believe, but it happened. Nah, shoot, messing up happens every day. If you ain't messing up, you ain't doing nothing. But you will get a front row seat to some clouds forming. I thought that was pretty interesting. I got you a front row seat, so stick around. What I'm gonna do is disc between these two strips, take out all these weeds, and then I'm gonna come back through and sow winter wheat. And that wheat will come up, and the nature of that stuff is to go dormant over the winter. So I'm hoping it stays low, covers the ground, and don't shade these vines too much. We'll see. I got these discs up nice and tore all the grass and weeds that was coming in. Now I'm gonna sow that winter wheat in here, well, my little cyclone seed sower, and then I'll come back over it with my disc straight. The disc will be set straight. Just lightly disc it. Just cut it. Just barely cut it in so it'll come up quick. It's hot, nice and warm. Sun. We got good rain night before last. Supposed to get some more rain later this week. That ought to put our winter wheat to growing. Here's our cyclone seed sower. This thing's old. It may have belonged to my grandpa. I can't remember. And it's a handy thing. Let's see in the sunshine here. It's a handy thing when you start sowing seed. I got duct tape on it, just covering some holes there, but got another hole or two I need to cover. I got me a piece of tape right here to do that. But anyway, I'm gonna fill this thing up, and I just hang it around my neck. If you're not familiar, it's got a crank on it. I can crank it and it'll sling the seed out. You got a sack right here, and you just, whatever grain you're planting, you just put it right in there. It'll probably hold 10 pounds or so. It'll hold all you don't spill. I'm gonna fill it up a little more than that, and I always try to fill it up in the area where I'm gonna be sowing, and that way what I spill is still gonna get to grow. Now this is just plain old gore or winter wheat. Cover crop winter wheat, that's all it is. the way this thing works, I've got a little latch down under it that I can pull back with my thumb on my left hand, and that's how I adjust the flow of grain out of it. And then how wide a spread I want is determined by how fast I crank the handle. And I've got corn on one side here and plastic on the other, so I can hear it hitting the corn and the plastic, and I just slow down until I don't hear that. And that way I know I'm getting a good, even spread on my seed. Another thing I like about growing these watermelons and winter squash like this is there's a big chunk of your field it lays out. You don't grow nothing on it. Maybe a few weeds, but this cover crop, this will be growing a cover crop at the same time as we're getting a vine crop. That can't be nothing but good, can it? First time I've ever growed watermelons or winter squash this way, and I'm really excited to see how they do. The last 2 weeks, these vines have really took off. They've got big enough to establish a good root system, and the vines are really running. Me and Virginia had to come down here and lay them back on the plastic. They was crawled over in the middle here, and we had to go through and pick them up and lay them over back on the row cover just so I could get through here with the tractor to fix this ground. That's how much they had run out. You can probably see right there how far they run. A lot of them's more than that. But what I done on these other 2 sections is just I went through lightly spreading, and then I went back through again lightly spreading the other direction. Get a good coverage. Hopefully smother out some weeds. We got done. Got enough left over to do another place or 2 when we need to. I'm anxious to see how this works. Excited to see what kind of ground coverage it gives us. Winter wheat in the summer. Now, I'm just gonna real lightly, just barely, let that disc run over this. With the back disc, the finishing disc they'll be straight. They won't be doing no cutting, they'll just be doing scratching. So I run the tractor and disc down the center, but you got a space on either side where the disc can't reach. So what I'm gonna do, I got these two brushes here that come off of a brush pile here down here at the end of the field that was piled up back in the early spring. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this brush, excuse me, and I'm gonna come down through here like this and put pressure and just drag that brush, and that loose dirt, it'll just scratch over kind of at an angle, so it's pushing a little dirt, and that'll cover them seeds on the edge enough to come up, and also down the center. because the disc, there's a little spot there that the disc don't get right in the center. So I walk down one side, back up a center, and then back down the other side. Whew. Well, all them trips was getting real close to a mile non-stop. If I hadn't been working, it'd probably kill me. These big Cushaw squash, they're pretty amazing. They've got these runners on them here, right there. And what they do, they reach out and they get a hold of anything they can. And what that does is it balances these big vines with these big old heavy leaves to keep that vine from turning over. It keeps the vine standing up straight so it can't flop over, so them leaves will catch all the sun. Yep, that's how they do it. You know, since I started this YouTube channel, I've met a lot of wonderful people, and I'm thankful for every single one of you. And I want to give a big holler out to my buddy Dustin. He's a Midwest grain farmer. He gave me the idea to use this winter wheat in between these rows. Hopefully it comes up and goes dormant. He gave me that idea, and I want to say thank you, Dustin. I really appreciate it.